storm. Things aren't as they were before. You best start bracing. Did you think you could keep us out? Shut the gates, forget us now. Tides are changing. Can you hear the sound? Can't stop us now. We're not back in town, know what we're doing. Things are about to change, it's evolution. Voices shake the ground, you feel it moving. We the revolution. We're the revolution. With the ground beneath your feet, with a whisper in the trees. Do you feel us watching? Hunger in our eyes, victories on our minds. It's our time to...
In 1.16.2, the Pillager Patrols are back with a vengeance, guys. I remember saying when I first updated to 1.16, I hadn't seen them for so long, but yeah, something about 1.16.2. Every time I go to build a building here, I get one of these patrols come through, but I've been really lucky. They've sort of been appearing just down here in the tree line, and then kind of either going along the bank there or into the water, and they've been leaving me alone. But not in that time lapse. It might have had something to do with me cutting down all the trees out here. They were able to see me, and yeah, I haven't edited that time lapse yet, but I'm pretty sure you will have seen them. I had all the doors open to these buildings as I was building up the top, and they came up the stairs inside both buildings and started shooting at me. That was a nightmare. But anyway, guys, we have a new building for our city. And this one, you will remember, I guess, if you watched last episode, I asked for people to submit some of their designs for Austrian houses. And this one is the first submission. This is from Kalulu Girl, and it is super cool. I changed a few things around. Not that I necessarily think mine's better, but just to suit my style. So the original one that she built, and I recreated this just looking at photos of her build. This building here is all as she made it, but this one I changed it to bone blocks. Her design used white concrete powder. I just used bone blocks because I am mixing in different coloured buildings, but I don't want to go too crazy having them all clumped together. So I thought making one out of bone and then the other colour one would look a little bit better. But one thing I never do is put diorite inside the building like this. But I tried it without it and it just didn't look right. So with the diorite looks so much better. And yeah, I think this thing is looking cool. I mixed this up a bit as well. It's a little bit different than what she had it. We got a little swing here. So I'm not sure if I'm going to put I'll probably put some sort of little parky sort of area here. But yeah, not quite sure yet. I'm trying to avoid the problem that I'll inevitably fall into unless I intentionally don't do it, and that is basically making a city in a great big grid pattern with nice straight roads going through it. So I'm intentionally here making this road go on a bit of a diagonal. So I think that's looking cool. We passed the candy shop. And then we come around here. So this one here is a florist. So we've got a few little plants out the front. And then we can come inside and we're selling more plants here. More plants there. We've got a little shop front. And then upstairs is just the personal area. So a lot of this I kept exactly the same as the photo she sent me. I did add a few things like these plants up here and a little kitchen area. But mostly it is pretty similar to what she did. I actually think this building looks better from the back, which is A little bit of a pity since it's in this tiny little alleyway, but still looks cool. And I've had a few more of these builds sent to me, so I'm going to be throwing them into my city as well. It does make it a lot easier for me, guys. Like, something like this would probably take me 2 days to design, but because I had all those photos, it only took about a day to get it the way that I like it. And it is so cool. So keep sending them in, and you can have one of your buildings in my city. So the next one is a clothing shop, and this is pretty cool. Like, I wouldn't have thought of putting this cool blue wall in there, but I do think it looks nice. And we've just got all these outfits for sale here, and then we can come into the back room. Got a whole bunch of storage for clothing there, loom, and in here is a little changing room. So that is pretty cool. And one of the things I really liked about this build is that they had a different sort of staircase. Kalula Girl had a different kind of staircase, but she had these paintings coming up on the angle, so I thought that was awesome. And this room up here is pretty much the same as she designed it. I moved the bed. Her bed was facing in another direction, so I switched that around a bit. I put a bit of a wall around the bookcase there, but otherwise this is very, very similar to the way she had it. I think in both buildings she had an attic as well, but I just went for a high ceiling. And then this door's a little bit dodgy. You can see it's sticking out from the wall there, but it's not too noticeable. I had to do that because I need a little step down here. Her balcony was 1 block higher. I lowered it a bit just because I thought it looked a little bit nice. I thought her one was just a touch too tall. Looks a little bit better lower like that. But pretty much, I reckon 90% of this entire build I kept the same. Changed the roof a bit, but yeah, very cool. So keep sending them in, guys. And I'm not sure if we are going to do another building in the city for this episode. We might do, but I am doing a world download. So if you look in the video description, there will be, at the end of this episode, I'll make a world download. So there is a bunch of things I want to get ready for you, just so you can find your way around. Like, I've had a few comments, people are trying to find things, and I have nothing signposted in the nether. So I've got to make some paths and stuff, so we've got a lot of work to do. But one thing I won't be doing is making a proper entrance to the base. So I'll show you where that is now, just because I'm kind of thinking eventually I'm going to have a path coming up from our city up to this hill, and then a nice bridge over this gorge, and my base is just inside that mountain. So if you have trouble finding it, sort of move around to this area, and all the way down there is a little entrance that'll take you into the base. But otherwise, you can just fly up to here, and I'm crashing, and there's this little depression in the ground and a couple of snow layers. If you just hold shift here, you'll come down, and this is the command center of the base. So yeah, that is how you find it. But if you come down here, we'll go down another level. If you go through that little doorway I showed you at the bottom of the gorge, that'll take you in here. But let's go down one more level. I am making a little surprise for you down here in the bunker. And I won't tell you what it is yet, but that passage will take you off to some spawners that I still haven't gotten around to doing anything with. But right here, we are building something special for the world download. But yeah, we'll get back to that. And if you see the mushroom in the nether tunnel, don't worry, that he's there intentionally. He's my pet. I used to have 2 of them. I think one of them's missing. But other than doing some signposting here in the nether hub, just so you can find your way around, I want to work on some more tunnels. Did you get me a skull? Come on, I need some more. No, nothing's coming through there. So out here, we've got the old Blaze farm that I never ever use anymore. I'll probably still keep it there. But we've got this sea lantern path. That's sort of like a flying path. I just grab my rockets and I fly above that, and that takes me out to the double Blaze farm really quickly. Up the end there, we have the entrance to the Japanese area. So I kind of want to clean up this area, because we're constantly getting peppered by Blaze and ghasts here. So hopefully we can do something with this area on this episode. But there is one thing I definitely want to take care of, And it's the same sort of thing, but it's over in this direction. So out here we have the... Nope, that's wrong. Let's keep going. Even I can't find my way around. Okay, out here we have the passage that takes us to the end portal, which is dead ahead. But both my guardian farms are out in this direction. And this is the same sort of thing where I just fly around. But I sort of have to fly down here past the lava. And then we eventually come across, here we go, this other flying passage, and it's really dangerous. I'm always running into ghasts, and it's really annoying. So rather than, like, this tunnel is so long, so rather than try and build this all up and maybe put an ice road down, I have an idea for a different way of getting to just my villager trading hall in the Mushroom Island. See, it takes too long. I'll show you what my plan is, and yep, there we go. These guys are always hanging around. So there is the portal that takes us to the fortress, so I can get to the end. But I barely go to the end. I still haven't got an Enderman farm. But I want to do something with this little roadway right here. But it's going to finish at that portal. We're not going to go any further than that. To get to the other areas that are so far away, I think I want to use the roof of the Nether. So what I would like to do is somewhere here, so that's the portal to my base, somewhere right here, I want to dig a passage straight up to the roof, knock out some bedrock so we can just sort of come in here and just take off with the rockets and get up there and then get to those areas nice and quick. But I can't even remember how to break bedrock, so I have a little bit of work to do. Okay, for the breaking of the bedrock, I'm going to be getting very close to some TNT, and I don't think I'll take too much damage, but at least I can replace my Elytra with a nice blast resistance breastplate. So I'll get this done, and we will head up to the roof of the Nether. So there are a lot of videos on YouTube for breaking bedrock, and I went into creative and I looked at about 10 of them and I couldn't get any of them to work. And eventually I found a method by Ray's Works and friends. And that's the one we're going to do today. And I actually need to break 2 bits of bedrock. So we're going to have to break 4 in total for me to break the 2 straight down. But that is where I'm going to be breaking the first one. And I don't know if this is directional, but I tried one direction and I couldn't get it to work. But I know that facing west will work. So I'm facing west now. I'm just going to replace that torch with a piston. And behind that we are going to put an obsidian with a lever on top. We'll put some TNT there. And we'll go 1, 2, 3 bits of redstone. That'll run into another bit of TNT. Obsidian and a trapdoor, and that is the setup. Now it doesn't work every single time, but in creative it worked most of the time. So what I'm going to do is come in here and then drop myself down. I'm going to extend that piston, and then I'm going to try and place, I'm going to spam click placing a piston facing straight down in the same spot that piston's in. So let's, yes, I've got my breastplate on. Let's give it a go. Here we go, spam clicking, and hopefully there is a hole underneath that piston, and it worked perfectly, but we're not done. We need to break another one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug that up like it was never there, and I'm going to break the one just in front of it. So let's get set up again. And I will go ahead and link Ray's video in the video description if you want to check that out. Spam click! Ah! And that was an epic fail. Let's try again. Okay, hopefully that worked. Oh, goody goody. That only took about 4 or 5 goes that time. But, okay, so we've got the 2. That first one, I think, was my block. Yes, it is. So now, seeing as... I'll get my torch out so I can show you. Seeing as that one at the back is the one that I want to break down an extra block, I need to knock out that one as well, and with those 3 knocked out at the top, I should be able to get in there and knock out that bottom one. And we will plug those up so I can put my redstone down. Trapdoor, let's hope this one works first time. Spam click. I think it did. Okay, we are in business. So the reason I had to knock out those 3 is because now I can place my piston there. It's got room to extend, and I can stand in this hole and bring myself down. So the redstone will be a tiny bit different here. I just made this up. Ray didn't show this, but it seems to work just fine. We'll put the lever right there with our TNT. We'll go 1, 2, 3... TNT there, and this should be working. So I'll get my piston in hand. We are placing that as we're spam clicking. Let's go. Come on. I think we're good. Netherrack. We're in business. Oh no. Oh no. You know, a normal person might have just picked another spot, but by golly, this is where I wanted to put it, and I wasn't going to be stopped. I was a little bit silly, actually. I tested where I figured out where I wanted to have it in a world backup, so I could fly around in spectator mode and in creative. And when I found the spot, I just knocked out the first 2 bits of bedrock and saw netherrack, and I thought, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, didn't think to dig any deeper. So I still have to clean up the top here. But we are done. I've put in my little passage, and I've got some vines down there so I can just drop and we won't take any damage. And this is where I want it. So my base portal's right there, so I can come straight out. And there we go. We've got the nether ceiling access. And just for a bit of fun, I've put in 4 droppers here. We've got a button and just a bunch of observers behind there to power it. So if I don't have many rockets, I can just hit that and that'll give me a dozen. So that is pretty cool. And then I've just got to do a little bit of jumpy stuff and try and take off. And we are on the roof of the nether. So I've got to make a passage out to my villager trading hall and to... I've got 2 guardian farms. I need to make a path to that. I'll probably just do it nice and simple with end rods so I can find it and then put a portal there. And then once that's done, I've just got to do a little bit of work on some of these nether tunnels. So the one to the stronghold, that is a little bit dangerous if I'm not wearing gold armor because all the piglins come after me, but it's not too far, so I'll definitely build that one. Maybe we'll build the one out to the Japanese area, but maybe not. And once I've done that, I will bring you back and we will go and visit that special little surprise I am building in the base. I am so glad that I saved that little surprise in the base for the end of the video because this is a little bit underwhelming, but there we go. I finally got 2 nice, easy passages out to some of my builds, so you will be able to find them. And I didn't get around to cleaning up all the passages, but at least this one to the stronghold's done. But yeah, no real point going down there because I haven't built anything. So let's not wait any longer. Let's go downstairs and I'll show you what I've built for you for the world download. But before we do, you'll need to know where the beacon controls are. They're in this room here. You just you right click on one of the node blocks and you can turn the beacon on. That's because this thing that I've built is a mini game and it has 2 settings, hard and ridiculously hard. And if you've got the beacon on with speed, then it's on hard mode. And some of you might recognize this. It is my mini game test drive. It's a dodging game, so we're on a road, we're going to have cars run at us, and we've got all these strings above our head. So if a car hits us, it's going to knock us up into the tripwires, and we are going to lose the game. So let's get it started. Just with the push of that button, this will pop up. You can put yourself against this little wall, and you just dodge the cars, and it's got a bunch of levels to it. So we're looking at those lights up the back. When they light up, we have to move forwards because our track is getting shorter. You'll see here, that pops up, and then we can put ourselves against this again. And I intentionally built this thing really, really difficult. It is so hard. Like, without the beacon, the final level is near impossible. Even if you've got the best reflexes, you basically have to get a little bit lucky. And just make sure you pay attention to those lights, because if you don't move forward, this thing popping up behind you will knock you into the tripwires. Now, I designed this actually years ago. And I do have a tutorial for it, so I will leave that in the video description. A few people keep asking me, does it work in this version or that version? And apparently it does. It is working just fine, although there's a fair bit of redstone in it, so if you make a tiny little mistake, it can you can have a few problems and you might have to do a bit of troubleshooting. But yeah, it seems to be working just fine, and I've actually added, like this thing has some note block tunes when you win or lose the game. The losing one's just like a ba-ba-bum, it's nothing special. Move forward. It's nothing special, but I've added a nice fancy one for if we win the game. So hopefully, well, chances of me winning this aren't very good, but if we do, we will get to hear the tune. Otherwise, you'll have to get the world download and try it yourself. I think that middle sea lantern there is the final level. I tend to think right here is the best place to stand, but I could be wrong, but I find right there is the easiest place to dodge. And I've got a really cool little system for randomizing these cars, so they are random. There is no pattern whatsoever. I've got a little randomized clock that decides where they are going to pop up. And you will need a lot of observer blocks if you want to build this yourself, but I think it's final level. You know, I won already! That is the theme tune to Iron Man. So that was the final level. I thought that light was supposed to come on for the final level. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I wasn't really paying attention. But yes, it is beatable if you've got the speed on. But if you can defeat the game with the beacon on, go and turn it off and then try it again. But yeah, that is the game, guys. It's actually pretty compact with the redstone if you want to build it. Let's jump down here. And I'm probably a little bit better at redstone than when I first designed this, so I could probably do it a bit better. There's my big note block tune. But yeah, it is very buildable. Like there's a fair bit of redstone, but really not too much. It's very manageable if you want to give it a go. So that's it for today, guys. Go ahead and check out the video description and grab the world download, and you can have a nice run around my world. And thank you very much to You know, I googled this the other day, like her name, how to pronounce it, and I think earlier in the video I said it wrong, and now I can't remember. I think it's Kalalu Girl. Thank you very much for your lovely house design, and keep sending them in, guys. We've got a lot more houses to build in our city. So thanks for watching. I'm Cortezerino. I will see you later.